All right.
Oh, Jake, looking at what Michigan does and the way that Golden and Wolf, really present some interesting physical challenges down low. What has it been like, I guess, watching those guys on film and trying to get a feel for how, Michigan's able to effectively use two 7-footers together?
Well, I think it's unique, right? You don't see it a lot in college basketball, and certainly, although both of them are really tall, they're very different players.
Yeah.
And they found a way to utilize that at a really efficient way. So it presents challenges, certainly defensively and offensively with their ability to protect the rim.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think like anything, right, we've now moved on to the next game, and we got to come up with a great plan and have some great prep.
Have you been able to spend any more time now that they're both feeling better with like Sean and Aaron playing together, or have you been able to, Aaron and Yvonne, like have you been able to try to, and is it important to try to match their size for size, or do you just try to out scheme some of that stuff?
We've been trying to get some time to work on that. We were able to do a little bit before the Washington game.
Okay.
That was kind of the first time in a while we'd had everybody, on the court at the same time to be able to do some of that. Well, aside from Devin, really in our prep for that kind of forced us, right, and gave us an opportunity to work on those two together. So with the time we had preparing for this one, we're certainly looking into that more.
Jake, what's it going to be like to see Roddy on the other side?
Yeah, it'll be different. Roddy was family and came over to our house a lot. I had one of their games on in the background when I was watching film one night, and one of my daughters were like, is that Roddy? It's like, yeah, that is. He's on the enemy's team now. kind of explain that, but I hope we get a moment to see each other before the game, and he was an important part of our family for a significant amount of time. But this rivalry game's bigger than any one player. I think that's the thing for me. That's the thing for us. That it doesn't really matter kind of what happens right within. It's just this is the game, and it's bigger. It supersedes anything like that, and that's our focus. Our focus is embracing everything that this rivalry presents.
And it's beyond a rivalry. It's another tournament resume game you guys can put on there.
Every game right now is really important for us. There's no question about it. And we've certainly embraced that part of this time of year. But I also don't want to dismiss that this is a rivalry game, and we are certainly embracing that.
Yeah, weekend game at home, right? That's got to be kind of nice, right?
Yeah, that's a nice change. That's a nice change.
It's a whole one of them, right?
To be able, one of two, to be exact.
Well, that one didn't count because that was before the new year, right?
Yeah. Before the new year and on Big Ten championship day for football. But yeah, it's great. It's great to have a weekend game. I expect Buckeye Nation, will help us and give us a home court advantage.
Yeah, I guess not another game. I love that you're embracing that. A lot of coaches, we're going to do this. But you embrace that this is actually much bigger than a typical regular season game. Absolutely.
I think regardless of when you play the team up north, it doesn't matter what time of the year, it doesn't matter what sport, it's different. It's not just another game. And I think you have to embrace that. We certainly are as a program.
Jake, it has to feel good just for your first full official season here to be getting into late February. And like you're talking here, like trying to pump this up for, as it should be, right? It's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday against the rival. Hopefully you pack the house. But to have a team that's on the brink of securing an NCAA tournament position has to feel good in just year one.
It is. I have big aspirations, right, for this program, and I have not been shy about what the expectations and the standard is for this program. And, we've had certainly our fair share of adversity this season, but I'm really proud of the way this group has responded to that, and we're playing our best basketball really in the last, month or so. And we got to continue to do that. I've also said I don't feel like we've peaked yet. I feel like we still have some room to continue to grow to reach that last level, and we need to take a step forward here on Sunday.
That approach you've talked about, not all coaches lean into, at least publicly, lean into rivalry games this way in terms of willing to build it up as bigger than just another regular season game. What do you worry at all about players getting tired, about maybe too much emotion fueling into it, and how do you strike that balance?
Yeah, I don't. because I think if you're a part of this program and you're a Buckeye, me trying to diminish this game, like, it's going to be important to you. It doesn't matter where you're from. So, and I also, every time we step on the floor, we play to win. We don't play safe. We're aggressive. That's just, we play with urgency. That's a mentality we have in this program. So, and I know the guys we have in that locker room, so I'm not worried about us, being tight or anything like that. And if I didn't talk about it, they would be thinking it because I know how much they care. So, and I'm just, I grew up in Northwest Ohio. It's the trenches of this rivalry, so it's in my DNA.
You talk about, not wanting to dismiss that it is a rivalry game. What has the talk kind of been from your guys leading up to Sunday?
Well, the focus was on Washington and playing well. And going into that game, we talked about playing with great physicality, being aggressive and having an edge. And I bet if you polled a couple guys, I might have had the biggest edge leading into that game. I thought that was a really important game for us to continue to grow against a team that hadn't been playing really well. So there was no conversation about, the team up north really until post game. And then it's been, we have to prep. I think what makes rivalry special is the passion, certainly that goes into it, the intensity, but the respect. Like there's a level of respect. That's what makes rivalries, really special. And we certainly respect what they've done this year, and we have to prepare as good as we possibly can, and that's really what it's about. But I want the added whatever, intensity, passion, energy, all of that. We want all of that leading into this game.
Jake, you mentioned that there's like an education component to this rivalry. Like, what are you telling your guys about this game? Because obviously you grew up with it. Yeah, well,
today we're gonna talk about, when we meet, some of the, on both sides, pros that, from a basketball standpoint, that have played in this game. And, both sides, there's a number of players that have. And, I think you can reflect back just through the history of this game of big, meaningful games. And this is a big, meaningful game. So we'll talk about that and embrace that, certainly.
What's your first introduction to this rivalry?
Well, I remember growing up in Gibsonburg, Ohio, and at the Ideal Bakery had 2 cookies during the week of the game in the fall. And they sold 2 cookies, and they would tally which one sold the most at the end of the week, and it was neck and neck. Felt like every time. So that's what I remember growing up. Shout out Ideal Bakery in Gibsonburg, Ohio. No, that was just, I think being in Northwest Ohio, there was a lot of that type of, like, it was very much both sides represented well.
How many Buckeye cookies did you buy?
Yeah, I was more of a donut guy at that time. I've since transitioned more to cookies, but yeah.
Jake, obviously, Buckeye fans got a little familiar with Dusty May in the coaching search. He took an FAU team to the Final Four. Do you know him? Obviously you've researched him now, getting ready for the team. What does he bring Michigan?
Well, I think, what Dusty's been able to do this first year has been really good. And he and I got to know each other a little bit when we were in the SEC together. So I've always had a great deal of respect for him, and certainly still respect him and what he's been able to do. But it's not as friendly maybe, as it once was, our relationship. But there's a great deal of respect. I think he's a really good coach.
We were all here a year ago today to hear from Gene Smith about a coaching change, and it's kind of wild to think how the difference a year makes. And I just wonder, I'm sure there's a 30-minute answer to this, but to think about where you were a year ago today to where you are now, like, can you pinpoint maybe the biggest difference, or how much your life has changed in these last 365 days?
Well, there's certainly security is a little different than that day. That, Adam, that was such a blur because everything was going so fast. And really, what I remember about that time when that happened was just the mix of emotions, the pain, the hurt you felt for Coach Holtman and our guys. And my focus at that time was, and I don't mean for this to sound cliche, but it really was just to serve those players in the program as well as I could. I've said that before, and that's all it was. I wasn't thinking about myself or what was next. I was thinking about serving the program and those players as well as we absolutely could. And, now you fast forward and you get to be the head coach of your dream job. It's a blessing. I'm so thankful that, God has, in my opinion, just ordered these steps. And for that, I take this responsibility of being in this position very seriously and continue to keep that same theme of serving the players who are here as well as we possibly can, but serving this program as well as I possibly can.
Back on Michigan, I think they have 5 guys who are averaging double figures. Just that balance and how difficult that is to defend a team like that. There is no easy matchup, so to speak. Just what's your thought about what you see out of them, I guess, offensively and with those 5 guys?
Yeah, well, it speaks to the versatility, right, for them offensively. You have 5 guys averaging double figures, and 2 of them are 7-footers, and they can make shots from the 3-point line and they can score in the paint. They do a really good job of getting to the free throw line too. So it's their offensive, kind of firepower and the multitude of weapons they have makes it a real challenge.
Is there anything you've seen change most for you in the past year? Anywhere that you think you've grown the most?
Yeah, when you lead a team and you're in that position, I think you have to maintain a mentality of growth for yourself individually and be willing to learn. And I've learned to trust people. I think when I first started out, that was a real challenge for me. I felt a responsibility to just do it myself, and ultimately, right, you have to make those decisions. But as this season's progressed, I've gotten better at leaning on our staff and the people who have such great experience. And that was hard at first. Not anything they did, it was a me problem, right? So that was an adjustment for me. But it still boils down to, and there was a point early in the season where I was reflecting, like, what do I need to do better? I went back to, I gotta still invest the time, the energy in the relationships with the players. And that part for me hasn't changed. That I felt like that was such a significant part of who I was as an assistant coach. And I've fought, the time management has become more challenging, certainly, but I've fought to keep that as a head coach. And I thought there was a moment I got away from a little bit of that at one point early on, but I've gotten back to that, and I'll always fight for that, because I think that's it's such an important part of being in this position. Certainly you have to oversee a lot, and that's different, right? But for me, it's still about them, and you still got to find the appropriate time to pour into them and help them grow.
Do you guys have Kyle Young's jersey?
The RIP jersey?
Yeah.
It's a good question, Adam. I don't know if we would have given that to him or not. I can find out for you before tomorrow if you want to know.
Maybe something to trot out before the game.
Well, we got some good video of that will be shown to our guys. Yeah, we got it on video for sure.
It's in Springfield, Mass. It's Springfield, Mass.
Yeah, I don't know about Aaron Kraft's RIP jersey too, but we're putting together a good little video for our guys. So.
Lots of RIP jerseys.
We need stronger jerseys, apparently.
No tearaways.
It is fun, and people ask, well, why? What about this game? But there is a different, just heightened, like, intensity and physicality. It's hard to fully explain until you're in it and you're between the lines. But I think that's what makes this game so fun. Is like it just everything's heightened, and I guess that's resulted in a RIP jersey or two over the years.
I love it. Awesome.
Thanks, Jake.
All right, yeah, thanks guys.
Hey, Jake, if you could have one shoe from this wall.
Oh, that's a good one.
What's if you could take one shoe with you?
I don't know if it's on this wall. My favorite LeBron. Yeah, I don't think my favorite LeBron is on this wall. But of the ones here,
Yeah.
I like this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good one.
His favorite
Thanks,
shoe
Jake.
is
Yeah.